For a long time, I have said that bodybuilding makes you less athletic. And because of that, I do not believe it is a great way for anyone to train who wants to live as the healthiest, happiest, most physically capable version of themselves. It's just not really the way to go. But I often get some pushback. So today, I wanted to prove without a shadow of a doubt that bodybuilding does make you less athletic and kind of explain to you why it's a bit of a problem. And we're going to do this in a pretty fun way because I thought what I would do is go and buy a bodybuilding program from Jeff Nippard, the GOAT of natty scientific bodybuilders, at least at the moment, and assess if this program actually will make you more athletic and see, if therefore it's actually a good way to train for someone who wants to be the happiest, healthiest, most physically capable version of themselves. And I've got some notes, we've got the program here. We're going to jump into it. But before we start, there's a few things we need to cover just so we're all on the same page. So number one, this is why I've got my notes. Number one, we need to understand that the body operates on a use it or lose it principle. What I mean by that is essentially you cannot just train for a year to become really, really fast and then never do any speed training again and stay that fast. You will become slower and slower and slower as you don't train it. Your body requires you to use the thing or lose it. And this is pretty much the major problem when it comes to bodybuilding, as we will see, because of both exercise selection and workout structure. All being focused around hypertrophy, you end up losing. It's just the reality of it. Number two, we need to define what an athlete is. So I have two definitions for an athlete. You can either have a specialist athlete, who is someone who displays one athletic quality to an extremely high degree. I think the best example of this would be Eddie Hall when he deadlifted the 500 kilo deadlift. He was an insane specialist of strength, and it is one of the most impressive human feats that we will ever see. But at the same time, I bet the man had to sleep with a sleep apnea mask. His lungs and heart are not going to be in a good state. He was far too heavy for that to be okay on his organs. He would have been taking all sorts of steroids, PEDs, he'd been doing unknowable damage to his body, and he's certainly taken years off his life. And this is kind of the problem with specialism. If you become a specialist, you have to sacrifice. It's not always to the extreme of being an elite strongman, the world's strongest man, deadlifting 500 kilos, which just objectively is not good for you. But it can be as much as being a pure ultra endurance runner. You're just not really going to be that strong. That's just the reality of it. If you put all your training time into one thing, you don't get good at the other things. And for a day-to-day person, that's a bit of a problem. You can train to be the 500 kilo deadlifter, but you're not going to have enough cardio to comfortably run around with your child. It's a trade-off, right? So that's specialists. And the other type we can think about, and the type that we should be aiming for if we want to be the happiest, healthiest, most physically capable versions of ourselves, is a generalist athlete. And these are athletes that show a wide range of athletic qualities to a relatively high degree. So you could think of, say, a CrossFit athlete. They're still super strong, but they're not Eddie Hall strong. They're really fucking good runners, but they're not Mo Farah endurance runners. They are pretty mobile, but maybe not quite as mobile as a contortionist. You see, they display a huge range of athletic qualities. You can also think of sports that are not like gym sports. I think CrossFit's just a great example, as MMA fighters, rugby players, gymnasts, free runners, that sort of thing, where you need a wide range of athletic qualities to be pretty good, but not elite, to perform well in the sport. If you pursue that element of performance, you will be a really happy, healthy, physically capable human being. And the reason it makes you happy is because you're going to be capable of doing everything you want to do in life. As I say, if you were able to deadlift 500 kilos, you are not going to comfortably be able to run around with your child. You're not going to be able to sleep properly. It's a sacrifice. A generalist athlete doesn't make that sacrifice. They are capable of doing everything. They can go on a run with their dog. They can go on a hike with their mum. They can help an elderly neighbor who's fallen over and pick them up easily. It's all of these things that we want to be prepared for. And it gives you the ability to just express your body in whatever way you want, do whatever sport you want, do whatever you want. You just want to be a generalist athlete. So those are the definitions. That's what we're aiming for if we want to be happy, healthy, physically capable. The thing we are assessing on whether or not bodybuilding is good for, through this lens of generalist athleticism. Number three, we need to break down the athletic qualities. And we've spoken about we want to be a generalist athlete. So essentially any program that is effective for developing generalist athleticism and improving our quality of life will improve the majority of our athletic qualities to some degree. Obviously, depending on the athlete and the type of generalist athlete they are, those are going to look slightly different. A football player needs a very different cardio system to a MMA fighter. A gymnast needs a very different level of mobility to a rugby player. These are just slight variations, but we would see that the program does cover all of our athletic qualities. And these are maximal speed, speed endurance, maximal power, power endurance, maximal strength, strength endurance, mobility / flexibility, which you could separate, but I tend to keep them together because you you're going to be hard pressed to improve one without the other. We've got coordination, anaerobic conditioning, aerobic conditioning, and I've added one on the end, which isn't strictly an athletic quality, but I've added hypertrophy here. And all training produces a hypertrophic response. You know, plyometrics, strength training, direct hypertrophy training, which is what we see in bodybuilding most of the time, it all can produce muscle growth if essentially what happens is mechanical tension is overloaded. So the total mechanical tension that your muscle experiences in, say, a week overloads over time, that muscle will grow. Of course, there are better ways to elicit that overload, and there are maybe worse ways, but functionally, athleticism benefits from muscle. It's the active tissue that makes stuff happen. All athletic training produces it. And I think it's worth us considering that, because a lot of people who will say stick to just a bodybuilding plan have aesthetic goals and they worry that they can't develop aesthetics without that. But I mean, you can, because literally all sorts of training, all training, including like mobility, produces a hypertrophy response, like a growth in muscle, if we're overloading that tension. So that's really the key thing. So it's worth considering that you don't need to just do a pure bodybuilding program. Again, this is where the problems come in, because people hyperfixate and don't need to, but we will get into all that. And the last thing I want to mention is I'm going to talk about 3 different athletes every time we look at a programming day. We're going to talk about rugby players, gymnasts, and MMA fighters. And we're just going to decide if this program would objectively help any of them in the grand scheme of it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Jeff Nippard's website and buy a program. So if you type in Jeff Nippard program, the second thing that comes up is a Jeff Nippard PDF. I'm not going to get it for free. I'm going to go buy it and I recommend, I'm not going to show the full program on here because it is the way the guy makes money, but I do recommend, if you want to check this out yourself, go buy it. Like it's only fair to buy something someone works on. He's got a load of different programs, but there is one that says the pure bodybuilding program, and we are assessing bodybuilding. So I'm going to buy this. Choose your training split. All of these I do like. I'm going to say he's got full body, upper, lower, push, pull, legs. Generally, one of the big problems with bodybuilding splits is that they are bro splits, which is even more useless if you want to be a happy, healthy, functional human being. So, you know, this is quite nice to see. I'm going to go push, pull, legs. Reason being, that is slightly closer to the like standard bodybuilding split. I know we're seeing that change a little bit now, but we're assessing like bodybuilding, and what most people think of as bodybuilding is back and biceps, chest and triceps. Like a lot of creators forget that that is what the average person views training as. So let's go into this, because this is what most people assume they should be doing. Add to cart, I'm gonna buy it. Fortunately, it's a business expense. Okay, I've got it. I've got the program. So let's access program. Let's fucking go. Hypertrophy handbook. Don't give a fuck about any of that. Don't give a fuck about the nutrition. We want to know about bodybuilding. So let's fucking go, guys. I've never done a video like this. If you like this video, let me know in the comments, because I actually really enjoy doing YouTube stuff. Most of you guys will have discovered me on Instagram, but I like the YouTube stuff. So if you want to see more YouTube stuff, let me know, because I fucking like doing it, guys. Right, let's get into this. So, pure bodybuilding program. Jeff Nippard is a bit of a tank, isn't he? Important program notes. General warm-up, blah, blah, blah. Just covering himself. Cool, they've got a warm-up protocol, which is cool. So this is going to be the first bit of training we've seen. Program, warm-up protocol. Is this going to help you become more athletic? I mean, you could argue they're doing like 5 to 10 minutes of cardio and a little bit of mobility, but it's so little, it's not actually going to produce a training stimulus. So we actually need to keep this in mind, that there is a minimum stimulus you need to elicit a response. It's the same with hypertrophy, right? It's the same with all of these athletic qualities. This is not enough to make a difference, and it's super general. So if you're just a random person, you might need this, you might not. It's not going to make you necessarily more athletic. It's probably not going to have any overall impact. I think it's there just because people think you need to do that. Warm-up sets. Yeah, they're prescribing the right stuff for warm-up sets. Just saying build into it, basically. So, cool. Weak points table. They're going to tell you where your weak points are, what you can do. Cool. We're at the program. So, guys, I'm not going to show you the full split because it is a little bit cheeky. But I'm going to talk about it and I'll show you the bits that are relevant. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So, day 1 consists of cross-body lat pull-down, snatch grip, RDL, chest-supported machine row, straight bar lat prayer, hammer preacher curl, lying pause rope face pull. And in terms of the things we need to like be aware of on that is like they want a bit of a stretch in some of them. There's RPs really low on a couple of them. And there's a bit of technique note. So basically we have nothing that goes below 8 reps. The RPE on the lowest rep thing is pretty fucking low. And the biggest range thing, which is a snap grip RDL, they want you to stop about 75% of the way down. So you're not like ranging it. So like if we look at this day, just from the exercise selection alone, and then the choice of reps and sets and intensity, you are going to do nothing. Oh, Emily is home. I'm just filming a YouTube. Just discussing Jeff Nippard's bodybuilding program. Oh, thank you. I actually got you a cake as well.
No
it's
way.
fucking there, yeah.
No way.
You got a bolo, you know the one you like?
The coconut one?
Yeah, is that for me?
Yeah.
Oh, sick, thank you.
I was actually going to buy one, and then I saw those, I was like, no, I don't.
Look at that. Cute relationship, guys. Does bodybuilding make you more or less athletic?
Less.
Thank you. Now fuck off, I'm filming my video. Love ya. Love ya. Alright, so this day one, from the exercise selection, the rep selection, the intensity, the notes on the technique, on the exercise, and quite frankly, just the structure of the program, it is going to be really poor for every athletic quality on this list except hypertrophy. There is no speed, there's no speed endurance, there's no power, I would literally read out the entire thing until we got to hypertrophy, which, I mean, it's doing a decent job of hypertrophy. Certainly not how I'd program it, but hey, it's at least fucking doing it. And if we take those three generalist athletes we spoke about, rugby players, I mean, they're going to be bigger, but it's not going to help any other athletic quality. Gymnasts, it's just not really that useful at all because there's not even body weight skills in the development of the hypertrophy. And MMA fighters, fucking useless. I don't remember if I said MMA fighters or free runners, so we'll go MMA fighters from now on. It's not really going to help them. Like, yeah, it'd be a bit of tissue robustness, maybe a bit of hypertrophy, but it's useless for all the athletic qualities, but hypertrophy is just not going to help you. And because we need to think this use it or lose it principle, doing this day, you're going to lose. Day two, we've got calf behind the back lateral raise, look at that, low incline Smith press, pec deck integrated partials, overhead cable tricep extension, tricep push down, cable crunch. And again, we have the lowest rep here that we see is 8. That's the lowest, and it's in a drop set, and that's it. And it's an overhead cable tricep extension. The bench is, some of them are half reps, like there is no, like, there's not even really a point me saying anything else because there is no stimulus for anything but hypertrophy in this program. Again, on this day, this is the push day now, and if you're not using it, you're losing it. So again, this is pointless for any of these athletes we spoke about, rugby players, gymnasts, MMA fighters. It's not going to help them because they're going to be losing the qualities they should be developing. And like, look, there is this argument where you could be like, well, if they're doing something, it's better than nothing. Yes, but at the same time, if they're actively missing out on other things, then they deserve better as an athlete, and you deserve better as a person who's wanting to be living with a great quality of life, because you are moving away from being this generalist athlete whilst you're doing these things. You're actively regressing, you're actively reducing your ability to interact in the world. Think about the bodybuilders who can't breathe, they need sleep apnea machines, they can't go up the stairs easily. Think about people who just get too weak to be able to like live independently, and because they just allowed their strength to decline and decline and decline. They might have thought they were still being really healthy because, oh, well, I sit on the bike every week, I just do my cardio, but their strength is still declined, their bone density is still declined, and they run into problems. And, you know, this program, sure, your strength is going to be there, your bone density is probably going to be better off, but your cardio is going to be gone, your heart's going to be gone, your lungs, your mobility, your coordination is not going to be getting trained here. It's going to be getting poorer. And you need a higher level of coordination than these fucking sagittal plane exercises give you to interact just in the world day to day. Ooh. That's my alarm to restart the camera because this fucking camera turns itself off at half an hour. Before we move on to the next day, something I want to add is this program is designed for 5 weeks, so we're going to look at the first 5 weeks, and obviously I think it can go on and on, but it's an 86-page document, so to be fair to Jeff, he's given you, like, well worth your money and information if you're a bodybuilder, but this is just not good if you want to be a healthy, functional human being or an athlete of any sorts. Like, athletes should just not be doing bodybuilding. All right, the next day, legs. We start with seated leg curl, machine hip abduction, hack squat, leg extension, leg press, calf raise. Now, I will say here, there is a heavy fall on the hack squat, which is amazing. Like, there's actually somewhat of a maximal strength stimulus here. This is great. But you're doing it after 6 sets on your legs already. And admittedly, they're not going to be the things that overly contribute to your squat, especially on a hack squat, which is going to hold you in a good position. It's going to mainly be your quads, right? But it's still a squat. You know, your adductors are going to be involved. Your hamstrings, whilst not directly involved, do play an element, a lot less, to be fair, in a hack squat than a real squat, but they do play an element. You're not going to be operating at a great position to build strength with that hack squat. It is still a strength stimulus, it is. But again, this is where we talk about where the priority is always thinking about hypertrophy. They're going, oh, I want to clear weak spots, so that's going first, regardless of knock on to the strength stuff that's afterwards, right? The thing is, if you just swapped it around, if you had that strength stimulus first and then you went on to the hypertrophy stimulus, you wouldn't get a negative knock-on effect to the hypertrophy stimulus afterwards. You'd still be able to train really hard and get a really good stimulus. It's not so much the other way. And you would get the same thing. If there was any power, speed, any of that in there, which there isn't, unfortunately, coordination, you would also see this. If that's not towards the start, you will cause a problem later on in your program. You're just getting less effective training on these generalist athletic qualities. So again, when we look at this day, if you're someone who's trying to be healthy, happy, trying to live with the best physical capabilities possible, this is not good for you because it's not going to move you towards being a generalist athlete. We have a tiny, tiny amount of maximal strength. So far, we've done 3 days of this program. There has been one set of 4, one set of what could arguably be a maximal strength exercise, but it's still pre-fatigued. Not in, to be fair, not in muscles that really are going to matter. Like that, it's such low volume that it's like, yeah. But then we come into this whole other problem because there's other sort of like athletic qualities that sit around all these athletic qualities that aren't quite something I really think about all the time. But you're going to have something like work capacity. So because this volume is so low, these people have real low work capacity. Like this leg day it's literally 15 sets. So you've done over 30% of your volume before you've hit your hack squat. Like you're gonna be fatigued. You're just objectively gonna be fatigued if that's what you're used to working towards. Like, and that's the only thing you're used to. And all of these sets, these working sets, are to RPE 10. So even in the intensity selection, it's like actually going to fatigue you before you do the strength stuff. So we've done 3 days and there is one strength stimulus that basically isn't that good. I don't really know what else to do because I can keep going through this and like, let's do it, right? We're going to hit this arms and weak points day. And this is nice. This is actually a really cool thing to see in a program because not a lot of people do this, but they've said basically pick your weak points. Here's some exercises we recommend to do that. And then on your weak points day, they say weak point exercise 1, weak point exercise 2, optional. I mean, it is one exercise you're going to add. It's not like some fucking life-changing magic. I don't know what to describe this as, life-changing like magic exercise, but still, they've put it in here, which is really nice to see, and it gives people options. I mean, this is one of the reasons at Different Breed we don't release one-off programs because, I mean, this program isn't what I'm attacking it for. I think because hypertrophy is relatively simple, for a lot of people this is going to be effective, but if you're doing an actual athletic program, because there's such a range of things we need to cover, everyone has such a different athletic background, different athletic demands, you just can't really write these programs that you just sell and do them generally. We always do our programming on a one-to-one basis and write programs bespoke for our clients. So it's really nice to see that Jeff is acknowledging that people have, you know, different weak points and he's putting it in here. But, you know, let's break down this day. 8 to 12 reps, 10 to 12. The lowest rep range on this day is 10. They go up to 15 and 20. So one thing we could say is there's an element of strength endurance and muscular endurance coming in with some of these sets, especially because every now and again they'll throw a pyramid set in, which is pretty interesting, right? So there is an element of strength endurance, but it's a function of the hypertrophy training. You know, they're not really actually looking to develop strength endurance at a high intensity. They're not going to get really good at deadlifting like 80% of their deadlift max. It's not what's in here. But if we want to give them their dues, there is a small element of this athletic quality. But as we look at the rest of this day, you've got 2 weak point exercises. They're all going to be hypertrophy exercises between 8 to 12. You've got some curls, some French press, some creature curls at the bottom tension, so you're not even doing full range, cable kickbacks, Roman chair leg raise. You've got one compression ab exercise. This is the other thing to mention, guys. There's been such a lack of different movement patterns. So when you're writing programs for people who want to be physically healthy and feel well-rounded, you need to think about a lot of different movement patterns. You've got vertical pulling, vertical pushing. Both of those need to be unilateral and bilateral at some point. Horizontal pushing, horizontal pulling, same thing with the unilateral and bilateral. Then you've got hip dominant movements, knee dominant movements, unilateral, bilateral. And that's before you start even getting into function of the core, compression, rotation, flexion, twisting. There's so much that the body does. That's before we talk about movement speeds. That's before we talk about these fucking athletic qualities. And we have not hit a single one of these. The first compression movement I've seen is this leg raise, and it's a beginner's bodyweight exercise. It's not beginners, but it's not going to be useful for an athlete. Again, we come back to this thing. If you want to be a human who is healthy, happy, physically capable, then you want to be a generalist athlete. Let's think about these generalist athletes we were talking about. Rugby players, gymnasts, martial artists. Will this help them? No, it won't, because all we're doing again is hypertrophy. Hypertrophy. These athletic qualities are not being hit, and if you're not hitting your athletic qualities, you're losing them. I can't say this enough times. This is why it frustrates me no end when we see people over and over again being like, bodybuilding's great for athleticism, force production is all that matters. Because it's just so totally untrue. And if you just get a bodybuilding program and fucking look at it, you can see that it doesn't work. And this is the problem, right? As I mentioned before, it's a use it or lose it thing. So people love to come and say, oh, but it's not the bodybuilding that makes you athletic, it's the stuff you're not doing. But that's exactly the problem. If you base your entire workout structure and exercise selection around hypertrophy, you make stupid decisions like moving your strength training into the wrong place. You barely touch strength training. You don't touch things like mobility, coordination, speed endurance, aerobic conditioning, anaerobic conditioning. There's not been any cardio of effective stimulus yet to help you stay healthy. It's not in this program. And for a normal person, that will lead to a deterioration. And the reason you are not training these other things is because you are bodybuilding. You are hyperfixated on hypertrophy. Now, we need to be clear. That is not to say that hypertrophy is bad. As I've already mentioned, every single form of training is going to produce a hypertrophy response. But if you're only thinking about hypertrophy, you program in these ways that aren't very natural to the way we move. They don't pay attention to the other athletic qualities, and they will cause regression in the athletic qualities you're not training, leading to people, losing their mobility, getting painful backs, struggling to go on a walk with their kids. These are things that really genuinely affect people's lives, and it's just not how day-to-day people should be training. And coaches need to stop pretending that bodybuilding is a great way to train for people, because it objectively isn't. Hypertrophy training is still important. Bodybuilding training is not. Training to be a generalist athlete is what you need to be doing. And with that rant out the way, let's go on to the next day. We're on to a pull day 2. So we've got a strength movement, but it is in a cable reverse fly going like this, which is arguably a strength stimulus for your rear delts, but it's not going to build well-rounded strength across the body. It's not going to help you, get up off the toilet when you're old. It's not going to help you move heavy things around your garden. It's certainly not going to help you absorb impact as a rugby player or build robust connective tissue as a martial artist or a gymnast. It's not going to improve mobility. I mean, everything here. Overhand cable row, arms extended, 45-degree hyperextension. That's cool. We've got a new function of the back-ish because it's extending. And he actually recommends doing this to feel a crazy burn in your mid and lower back. So Jeff has got him doing extension. That's great. We've seen a new core function. We've got 2. Lean back lat pull down, dumbbell curl, shrug and pause. Everything else is 10 to 12 reps. We come back to the same thing again. There's no other athletic quality trained except hypertrophy and strength for your rear delts, which is a fucking pointless way to train strength because it's not how you use it in the real world. It's not necessary. It's just a stupid way to train strength. It's done. Sorry. Push 2. Also, how many fucking days is this? How many days have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is an 8-day split. I don't understand. Unless you have the option, I didn't read the start of the program. Unless you have the option to pick which day you do and just alternate each week. But it says week 1 on all of them. There's 8 training. So I mean, it's not a week thing, right? It's on longer than that, which I'm not against. I program like that sometimes, but it just seems a bit pointless for this much hypertrophy that you just fit and get just as jacked in like a normal program. This is another thing with bodybuilding. The reason you don't do the other stuff is people spend so much time on this, and it's like, just go look at the UFC, go look at most sports. The athletes, go look at fucking CrossFit. The athletes are jacked, way more jacked than a lot of like natural bodybuilders or just as jacked. They look great. Like you'll build loads of fucking muscle just training like 3-4 days a week in CrossFit. Go to a CrossFit gym and look around at the people who train hard 4 days a week. You don't need to be doing 8 sessions of bodybuilding a week. There's always no point. There's always no point. Push 2, lowest rep you do is an 8, and it's a pause assisted dip. And I I don't really understand. Like, it's like a beginner's exercise, but you couldn't give this program to a beginner. And I'm pretty sure it said intermediate when I bought it. I'll have to look on the screen recording, but like, I don't know why partial assisted dip is in here. That's like the first thing where I'm like, well, they're doing something that would develop some body weight control, which is like coordination-ish. Except it's assisted and like not enough stimulus to even be good for fucking hypertrophy. I don't know. Low incline dumbbell fly to 15 to 20 reps. I guess there's strength endurance. 10 to 20 reps on an ab wheel rollout. I feel like I'm getting depressed reading this. I mean, this program looks fucking horrible to do. Like, so fucking boring. No, it just looks terrible. And it's just like, there's not even anything for me to debate on whether it's useful because there is nothing but hypertrophy. And like, yeah, strength endurance of your upper pecs. But it's just such a useless, it's just pointless. It's just pointless. There's a drop set on the machine shoulder press, which like, fair. Muscular endurance, to some degree, yeah. But it's not going to help someone, and I keep saying it, maintain any of these athletic qualities to live a happy, healthy, physically capable life, especially as you get older or you want to run around with your kids. It's just not contributing to that. We still haven't seen any cardio. This is objectively going to just not be good for someone. We shouldn't be telling people this is the same as athletic training. We shouldn't be telling people this is training that's going to make you happy and healthy, because it just fucking isn't. And we come back to those genderless athletes, it is useless for them. Again, legs 2. Doesn't go below an 8. There's no strength training. It's all machine work. I fucking hate it. There's a sissy squat, which is the first thing that's like, okay, there's a bit of mobility there. There's a bit of mobility in that. They also have a standing calf raise where they do a 30-second stretch at the end. So there's a bit of mobility on this day. This is the first day there's been mobility. Okay, there's mobility. Fuck all mobility, but we're going to count it. Cool. MMA fighter, gymnast. Mate, it helps him a little bit. It's just making me annoyed at this point, reading it. We're on the final day of the week, day 8, weak points 2. You do 2 weak point exercises. The lowest reps is 8. That's on your weak points. And then it's just some arm work. And you do a cable crunch. This whole program has no athletic qualities in it. There's no benefit to your athletic qualities. It's just fucking pointless. It's pointless. There's no point to it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand, if I'm completely honest. I really don't understand why someone would do that to themselves. I really don't. So that's it, guys. Like, we've gone through that program. I haven't been unfair to it. I've genuinely just read what's on the thing. And like, this is a fair assessment of if something's going to help your athleticism and help you live with a happier, healthier, better quality of life where you're physically capable. And the reality is bodybuilding doesn't help. These bodybuilding programs aren't going to help you. They are not designed to keep you healthy and happy long term. They're designed to prey on your insecurities about the way you look and buy into this like idea that bodybuilding is like the be all and end all of everything. And coaches saying that there's no difference between athletic training and bodybuilding, cut it out because it's bullshit, and you know it's bullshit, and you just want to be able to like be the cool coach who likes bodybuilding tagline. Explain the nuance because people aren't stupid. And hopefully today that's what we've seen. And look, if you want to be a happy, healthy, physically capable person, don't train like a bodybuilder. You need to train like a generalist athlete. If you're not sure what that looks like, I'm going to leave a link below to a private video where I talk through an introduction to athletic training program. And it covers a program which is basically written for someone who has done bodybuilding forever, but now they want to play around with a bit of athletic training and see what it really feels like. And it is only 3 days a week instead of fucking 8. I think it'll be useful for you if this has opened your eyes at all. And I'm kind of depressed after knowing that's what coaches give to people. So I'm gonna love you and leave you guys. If you like this, let me know in the comments because I would love to make more stuff like this. Drop us a subscribe and I will see you in the next video.